All right. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
How are you doing? You're in looks like you're in someplace tropic other than I mean it's Florida obviously, but where are you?
In Orlando, and delayed. Not flight delayed, but um, delayed by 40 minutes by. I'm not even gonna say that. People are working hard here, so you know I'm appreciative of the fact that they're trying to help keep the property clean. So I'm gonna say that, and then we'll
All
talk
right.
about it.
Okay, okay. So you're in Orlando at a convention, right?
Yeah, came out to a conference yesterday, looking at new equipment, stuff like that, and just turned it into a staycation. It's
Nice.
crazy. You live in Florida, but sometimes you still need to get away. Like trying to
Dude,
explain that to somebody who doesn't live in Florida is a little bit hard, but
yeah. When I
this is
grew up in Alabama, I remember we would come down to Florida for like vacation once every year or two. And when I moved here, that was the thought, like, oh, you're gonna be next to the beach. Everyone was like, you're gonna be next to the beach. You can go whenever you
right.
want. I'm like, bro, I may see the beach even less now than I
Then
did
you
when I
be
lived
when
in
you oh,
Alabama.
I just said that yesterday. I mean, literally, I don't go to the pool. I've probably been to the beach once in 2 years. And I mean,
Yeah,
like seriously,
yeah. My kids are
it sucks.
constantly begging for the pool. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah, we're lame, man. Like we're lame. So
we're
let's
hustling,
just
I
throw it
think.
let's just throw it out there. Like
Yeah,
you know, all this
yeah,
natural beauty around us, we don't even use it.
yeah, yeah.
So
All right, so I think today what we were thinking about talking about something else, but then as the person they're not doing it now, right?
right,
But we've been trying to do this video for like the last 30 almost 40 minutes.
right.
And that person was just gearing that blower
Hmm.
at 9 a.m. right in the middle of everything. And
Right,
it's just giving us, I mean, not that like we're the center of the universe or anything like that, but
right.
it's just giving us the hardest time trying to shoot this video. And
Yep.
you were telling me that the person had done like a pass two, maybe three, four times over the same area with the blower. Like, what do you need to keep blowing for 40 minutes? Like, who runs a blower for 40 minutes? You
In
know,
the same area with
at
nothing
this,
there.
yeah. So
So
we kind of got to brainstorming, not to judge anybody, but it definitely made us think about how a lot of the times people look busy, in order to build value. And
right.
that's not really the way to build value, just
No,
by looking busy, but actually building value by delivering.
very true. Yeah. So kind of going back to the story. So was getting prepared for the call, and they were cleaning up the pool area. That's kind of where I'm sitting right now. Nothing wrong with that. Definitely appreciative of that. But as I noticed, someone was making rounds with the blower and was blowing the same area three, four times, but there was nothing there. And I kind of, picked up on it. I'm like, are they actually trying to do a job or just to look busy?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and looking busy versus being busy and doing productive work, they're two different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, when we talk about, what we do with our strategy, and it's like, or, when we're doing stuff on social media or we're doing stuff in our business, we look busy, but are we intentional busy? Did we
Mm-hmm.
have a strategy behind it? Did we plan out what we wanted to do? Did we plan out our content calendar? Did we plan out, hey, this is our audience that we really want to talk to? And in
Yep.
many cases, we don't. So it's funny because when we're having conversations with our clients, like one of the first things that come up, well, I post on social media. So, and
Mm.
like, I don't want to be an ass, but my first response is always like, so what?
Right.
Like, so does
Yeah.
everyone else. Like,
Your
who
cat
cares?
memes or you hit the birthdays. I was checking a social media um, account for a potential client that someone was trying to refer us to us, and looking through the social media, I saw like, oh, Labor Day, oh, 4th of July, oh, boom, boom, boom. They were hitting like all of the like holidays, and they didn't have any brand awareness. It was just holiday
Hmm.
stuff. No brand awareness,
Yep.
no filler, no like the brand didn't have a personality, it didn't have a reputation, it didn't have a look and
Right.
feel. It was just boom, 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 boom. Like you could literally just look down and see the calendar holidays as
Right.
posts. And that it looks busy, like it looks like you got something going on, but if like anybody who's interested in seeing who you are or what you're
Right.
about or what you're doing is missing 100%.
Yeah, what's we talk a lot obviously about digital marketing, social media here. I mean that we're a marketing company, so obviously it's naturally what we talk about. But I in many cases, like I have so many calls with clients, and it's like they're so honed in on I want to do this, I want to do that.
Yep.
And one of the first questions I usually ask is why. Like, why do you want to do that? I mean, and well, I saw this company did it. Well, do you know why they did it? Do you know the type of results they got from that?
Right.
I mean, I literally had a call earlier this week. There's a big conference coming to Tampa in 2023, and they reached out to me and said, "Hey, Chris, we want to have you potentially help us with the marketing for the event." I'm like, "Great,
Mm-hmm.
so let's, I was on the call with a few of the guys planning the event,
Yep.
and like the first thing they came to was like, well, yeah, we just, can you develop a sponsorship packet for us?" And I'm like, well, yeah, I
We
can do
can.
that. I mean, that's extremely easy, but that is like the very last step of the process, if that even makes sense.
Right.
So, by the end of the call, what happened was, I use this word a lot. I mean, I really like to reverse engineer the plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Clients
What are you
usually
trying
come
to
to us with,
achieve?
yeah, they usually come to us with a deliverable. Can you deliver this? And
Shirts,
I
or
tell people I can
can you
deliver
have, yeah.
anything. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that part is easy. I can make you a sponsorship packet.
Right.
But if I charge you a couple $1,000 and make you a sponsorship packet, and I print it, and it looks beautiful, and you didn't raise any money, was that sponsorship packet worth what I charged you?
Right.
And in
Or
many
if
cases, the answer no.
$1,000 can't now be spent on something that may have been a better idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, after the call, it was really, I love having these calls because, clients come to us and they say, hey, I want this, I want that, and that's great. And I have no problem delivering. And, there
Sure.
are certain companies out there that will just take your money and say, yep, I can reduce that for you.
That's right.
But the same thing that I want to encourage, same thing I want to encourage our clients to think about is the same thing that I think about. Hey, I want to be intentional. I don't
Yep.
want to just take your money because here, if I charge you a couple $1,000s for something today, you don't see the results, you're not happy with it, you're never going to come back and use me again. But
Yeah.
if I can help you think about strategy and be intentional about whatever it is you're going to do,
Yeah.
now I've gained your trust. And that's one of the biggest things that I'm always, talking to people about is look, let's take some steps back. Let's
Mm-hmm.
be intentional about strategy.
Yes.
Let's be intentional about, hey, the deliverable part is so easy these days. And I say that because, if you want somebody to make a post on social media, anybody can do that for you. If you want
Right.
print collateral, anybody can do that
Anybody
for
can
you.
do
But
that. Yeah. Right.
not everybody can work with you on your strategy. So,
And not everybody
you
has
know,
the like creativity to do it in a way that nuances you. And
absolutely.
but anybody can post, right? So if you just want the
Absolutely.
busyness or the activity, or you just want to get this done, or you just want 20 shirts, or you just want that, like there's
Right.
a lot of ways, man, in this world right now, with where we've come with technology, to just
Right.
get any of those things done. The question really
Right.
kind of comes down to, I think I have a lot of clients who just haven't really thought, is this best? Like, is this like
Hmm.
where the money should go? Like, if you think of like your budget
Right.
as like a pie chart, and like, money that you spend over here doesn't exist now, can't be spent over here because you spent it over here. But man,
Right.
if you'd have put that over here, this idea could have been that much bigger, and this
Absolutely.
it might be a better idea. So I think testing some of those is good. And I think what people do is they assume that when they see somebody who's done something else, that they've tested it, or that because
Oh
they've
yeah.
done it,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah. And so they've skipped that kind of phase of like vetting
Absolutely.
something that authentically represents you. And they're like, well, this
Absolutely.
is how people do, or we've seen this done, this must be the way. And so they just really just run with it rather than thinking through like,
Hmm.
this is best for us. Like I had a client who, maybe I shouldn't say this because it might give away a great idea, but I'm in a
We're gonna wait.
venture.
Hold on.
uh,
We just edit this part out.
Yeah, what is that? What does it have? Maybe. So it was a client who was a realtor, and they wanted to do like a sold in your neighborhood. And I can't tell you how many
Hmm.
times I do those. I see those in the mail, and they go straight in the garbage. I don't even look at them. Like, absolutely straight to the garbage. And
Hmm.
I was, he was like, "Well, can you come up with a creative one?" And the answer is yes, I can. Sometimes people aren't really ready to take the risk of what that would look like. But I
Right.
had this extremely creative idea that I was like, I think this would work because if I saw this, I wouldn't know what it was and I would be dared to click on it or dared to like visit the URL, and then it could be
Hmm.
a landing page
Right.
with the sold information on it. And that, because you're teasing them into clicking it, then that's far better than, maybe the way that they were being done before, but they're being done the way everybody does them and therefore boring, potentially a waste of money, but it looks like you're there, it looks like you're doing something, you look busy, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, it looks like you. I mean, and in some cases, consistency, we always preach consistency, right? So,
Sure.
be consistent in what you do. But now if you add that intentional element to it,
Yes.
be, intentionally consistent. Oh my gosh, that's what takes you to a whole nother stratosphere in your business. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's those two things coming together where
Yeah.
you can be consistent, but if it's not intentional, or you can be intentional but not consistent. But if you
Mm-hmm.
bring those two elements together, and really hone in, and this is the part, I'm going to say this is the non-sexy part of business,
Yeah.
is where you're going in and studying. That just think about when you're
Mm-hmm.
back in college. Like, we all want the A, we want the
Yeah.
good grades, but the studying part is not sexy. Or like,
Yeah.
we always use sports. Like, going to practice is not sexy. We want to play in the game, right? We want to score points.
Yeah.
But those who study, meaning that, let's say we're talking about, obviously marketing,
Yeah.
and we're talking about your client base. When we talk about studying your client base, how many small businesses do you think actually study their client base?
Not
I
enough.
can tell you, not enough.
Yeah.
And what do you learn from studying
Like
your client base? You
it's
start
well,
to
it's
learn
like
it.
it's like when I was listening to like Kobe, a video of Kobe or somebody, and they was talking about how much he watched um, gameplay footage of
Yeah,
not just himself, but the who
other
he was about to
players.
play against. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep,
And he would just be
yep.
pouring over and pouring over and pouring over it. And to me, I maybe I'm weird. I like watching
Hmm.
playback footage. Like when I play video games and different things like that. I watch
Yep.
what other people are doing and I learn and I'm like, and I adapt, and this works, that doesn't work, all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm maybe a little bit of a nerd on that, the analytical
No,
side, but like I do
there's
find
a
that, but I
yeah, there's
find
a
that a lot
saying
of our
out
clients
there.
haven't, you know?
Oh yeah, they don't do it. And there's a famous saying out there that says, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one versus have an
Mm,
opportunity and not be prepared for it.
yeah,
So, when you think about that,
that's
that's
very
all
true.
that studying. That is that homework that you got to do. That's that. All right,
Hmm.
am I prepared for the opportunities that might come my way? And
Hmm.
that's the non-sexy part about it. It's like, no,
Yeah,
you don't. Nobody really sees that. Like, that's
yeah.
not front
No
end.
one
That's not
sees.
something that people see. That's the behind the
Yeah,
scenes part. It's just that evil necessary. So again,
yeah.
how does that work with what we're talking about? Well, when we talk to a lot of clients, well, I don't have the budget to do this. Well, I don't have the money, or I spent money here, or this didn't work.
Hmm.
Well, were you intentional and were you consistent? So if you're intentional, you're studying your clients. You're
Yes.
knowing that, okay, I know that, kids between the age of, 20 and 24 are the one. So, give you a perfect example. We had an online sticker business. And
Hmm.
what happened was, we built the whole platform from scratch. We studied our marketing. And within 2 or 3 months, we were able to really hone in by studying on where our clients were coming from, age groups, how much they were spending. And what we realized is, like, we were doing a shotgun approach at first. It was Facebook, it was Instagram, it was Snapchat. But what we started to realize after we started to study our clients is that we were getting our biggest bang for our buck on Instagram.
Yep.
And what we learned is that our audience, for the most part, were creatives like tattoo artists and
Hmm.
artists, or people who had products and they wanted product labels. So we learned that they were the biggest buyers of the product. So what do we do now? Now we took that information and we're able to market back specifically to them. But
Hmm.
all of that came because we were intentional about studying, who was doing business with us.
Hmm.
And it's those little things that if you make it part of your, I'm not, you don't have to do it daily, but if you make it part
Right.
of your weekly routine, your monthly routine, you will be so surprised
Yes.
that when we start talking about, it being intentional, and now when you can say, hey, Chris or Jason, I know
Mm-hmm.
what I want to do, and here's why I know what I want to do. It's not because I'm trying to do a Me Too campaign, meaning that, I want to just do something because somebody else did it.
Right.
Now it's saying I have intelligence that is telling me, hey, these are the people that are spending money with me. Now I want to spend my money
Yep.
marketing back to them. I don't need to market to everybody. I want to market to the people who are specifically spending money with me.
Yep.
And it's those little things. I mean, again, what do I always talk about? That's free. It
Yeah.
doesn't cost anything. Like, and I know people probably get tired of me saying that, but I'm all about doing the free things first
Yeah.
because, why go out and spend the money unnecessarily? Do the free stuff first, then go spend the money where you need the help.
Where it makes sense to as well.
Yep.
Those are great points. You keyed in on something that I want to maybe wrap up with, and
Hmm.
you had said that it doesn't necessarily, they don't have to be doing it like daily, every single day. As long
Right.
as they're putting a rhythm together or a schedule together and doing it on the schedule.
Rhythm,
And
rhythm, rhythm. Look at that word.
I
That
love,
word right there.
yeah,
Rhythm is so important, right? That
find your
if we
rhythm.
could,
Hey, we should
man, if we
add
could
that
use, man,
to our
rhythm.
video.
I mean, I don't know. That just sparked a whole nother interest for me. Like, just think about how the word rhythm, like when you're dancing,
Rhythm is
just
a
think about what
dance.
happens if you're dancing and someone messes up your rhythm. What does it do?
Yeah,
Or like,
yeah,
when
yeah.
you talked about Kobe, like when you hear athletes when they get into a rhythm,
Yes.
man, you become unstoppable then.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yes.
just think, like, you brought up Kobe Bryant, you hear announcers where he's in a rhythm. Man,
Mm-hmm.
now when you're in a rhythm, look what happens to your confidence then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't believe you can be stopped. Like, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, well,
And
you can't
sometimes you
stop
can't
me.
be. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh, man. Oh my
If you're
goodness.
in
We
your
can have
rhythm
a
and
whole
nobody's jostling you, oof, it's good. You can
man.
get stuff done. The,
We can that's a whole you
that's
just
a
brought
whole
up
new video. Yeah.
our next series there.
So the thought that I was trying to pull out of your comment was that a lot of people conflate consistent with constant. And
Hmm.
constant and consistent are not the same things. This can tie all the way back to the person who was doing the blower at the very beginning, which is
Right,
the belief that I have to be seen being constant, right?
right,
Versus being consistent about having a clean surface. You get in,
right,
do the job, and it's clean and it's consistently clean. Doesn't have to
right,
be constant then, right? Like
right.
there's a place where quality is driven out of understanding what consistency means, and it sometimes is confused with constant. People think they have to be
Hmm.
constantly posting, constantly this, constantly that. And if you're trying to compete in a space like, I mean, lawyers, for example, that's really the main way they feel like they have to compete. I have to be on every billboard, every commercial, every this, every that, like
Hmm.
all over the place.
Hmm.
Constant, constant, constant. And the truth is,
Right.
because they're all doing that, they're all invisible until you get the
They're all
one
invisible.
who does something just brand unique and they're consistent with it, and then
Right.
they step out from among the sea of constants. And that's really the key.
That's the space you want to play in.
Yeah,
So I think the next question, we can talk about this next time is, let's talk about some steps to how to be consistent and not
sure.
constant. And
Okay.
what people are really looking for. Now, obviously, that's going to be different, but there are certain companies, excuse me, who have mastered that. And once you get to that level of mastery, that's where that rhythm and that confidence and that you don't go backwards from there. You don't go backwards from mastery.
Right.
Once you obtain that knowledge, once you obtain that information, you're at a pinnacle now. You're not going to go backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because the biggest thing in any part of business is the education. That's the studying. So
Hmm.
I think we should talk about that next time, and
Yeah,
how to
I
go
wrote
from
that
being
down as you were
constant
talking.
to consistent, and now you
Mm-hmm.
create that rhythm. So
Rhythm is a
good stuff,
dancer.
man.
All right, this was good. This was good, and thank you for being
Absolutely.
willing to still be consistent with
Oh,
this, even
absolutely.
though you're in Orlando and we had to
But
fight a blower.
you know what? I mean, this is, I promise. Last point. Last point.
Go for it.
Sometimes being consistent. As easy as it sounds.
Mm,
Sometimes you need that accountability
yeah,
partner. And I'll say, you've become that accountability partner and said, look, Chris, I'm going to make you do it. I mean, that's why personal trainers are so important because
yeah.
most people can go to the gym and work out on their
Everybody
own,
can
but the
go to the gym
trainer
on their
becomes
own. Mm-hmm.
their accountability partner to saying, look, it's not really about the movements and all of that. Yeah, you want to make sure you're doing it right,
Mm-hmm.
but it's about, just having someone to push you sometimes and saying, hey, so with that being said, something else that's free. hey, if you're struggling in your business, you know you need to find somebody that's just going to hold you accountable to be consistent. I mean, and just find somebody you trust that will do that for you. And don't take it as them nagging you.
Right.
Take it as that they're trying to help you become better by being consistent.
Yeah.
So, that's the last point, and I think you've
That's
done
a
a
good
good
one to
job
end
of
on.
that
That's a good one.
yeah, with me, because you, Chris, we need to do this. Chris, we need to do it. And I'm like, kind of pushed it off for a long time, but now you've got me consistent, and we're doing it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for
So,
being here and thank you for participating. I appreciate it. And thank you for helping us be consistent. So, with
all right,
that,
man.
we'll sign off. Oh, can we do the like left right thing this time? Or
I'll
we
just
should.
like throw my phone to the left now since we had to wait so long to get started. I'm
Oh,
ready to
bro,
throw
that
this
would be
thing now.
sick. Don't do it though. Don't do it. Don't do it.
There's a nice way we can actually test to see if these
Is it
things are really
waterproof?
waterproof like they say. Yeah, they say they
Oh,
are.
bro.
No, I'm not gonna do it though, because
All right.
it'll be just
Maybe
my
another
luck that it
time
won't
though,
be.
because then I could like make that full screen as we go. Huh?
Oh man, that would be awesome, right?
That'd be so funny. All right, man.
All right,
Uh,
man. Talk to you
later.
later.